Hello, and welcome back to this session on Builder's Design Pattern. This video is part of a 20 hours Udemy course where we cover hundreds of real-world design pattern scenarios. The Builder Design Pattern is a creational design pattern that is used to create complex objects step by step and allows you to produce different types and representations of an object using the same construction code. The main idea behind the builder's pattern is to separate the construction of a complex object from its representation so that the same construction process can create different representations of the object. The builder's pattern can be particularly useful when you need to create objects with a large number of optional parameters, as it allows you to specify which parameters to use and in what order, without having to create multiple constructor signature. In this example, we will be implementing a real-world SQL query builder using Builder Design Pattern. The SQL query builder will be used to construct different SQL query. SQL query typically has several clauses such as select, from, where, group, by, order by, and limit. The query builder class allows this class to be added incrementally, making the construction process more manageable and readable. Let's take a look at the sample code. We're going to start by implementing a class called the query builder that takes in an attribute underscore query that is set to none. This is a string where all the query statement will be stored. Next, we're going to implement methods that does the select, the from, where, group by, limit, all the clauses of the query. Let me take this up. And let's create the first clause. It's going to be select. The select clause takes in the string select, and then it uses a join to put together all the database fields that we want to include in our select statement. The return self method gives us back the query builder object. Next method is to create a from clause. And so we're going to create a from method to handle that. And the from method will take in a table. It's going to concatenate from whatever table that we have stored there. And then it returns back the query builder so that we can chain other clauses to it. The next clause will be the where clause. And the where clause will also concatenate where and use a join method, because for where we can have multiple conditions that we specify in our where clause. To make this clearer, I'm just going to specify a type inting to say that the column is a list. I'm importing the list type. And then also the condition is a list. And that is why we're able to use the join method on them. We can also create order by and group by. Order by will do the same thing just like we did with where. It takes in a list of columns and then it joins them together separated by commas. And then we also have a group by, which does the same thing by building a query using the list and then concatenating with the query string attribute. And lastly, we have limit, which just concatenate the last word, limit, and put the limit there. Now let's return the generated query using the get query method. We're just going to start the usage by instantiating the query builder and then using the query builder to generate a special query. The first one I did is a select query that took in 2 columns. And then I changed in the from query. And then also I'm going to chain in the where method. The from method will create the from query. And then the where method will also create the where query. And then I'll create the group by query, passing in a list. As you can see, this takes in the list. And then also I'm going to do the order by query that takes in another list. And I'll also run the limit to set limit for the query. Now this generates the query string, and to get back the query string, I'm going to also call the getQuery method that returns the string that is generated. I can run the output of this code by running the print method to print out the query, and you can see here, because we did this, we were able to chain queries together, and here we have the query generated. If I take out the order by, you will see that the order by query will be out of it, and you can also take out the limit if you want, and the limit query is also out of it. So I can generate my query using this chain of query generators that gives me a chain of query using the builder pattern. This builder pattern style allows me to generate different query representation by chaining together different query clause methods from the query builder. This video is part of a 20 hours Udemy course where we cover hundreds of real-world design pattern scenarios. The course is called Design Pattern in Python with Real-World Code Examples. We showed via practical coding how design pattern is implemented in real-world scenarios like event manager, catch, database connection codes, document management code, creating optimized configuration settings, login frameworks, GUI framework codes, plugin systems, game development codes, payment gateway, document generators, computer graphics generation codes, financial model code pattern, resource pooling, object pooling in ORMs, website creation, database query codes, language translator, web application framework creation, banking system codes, organizational chart creation, file system, interpreter, menu system, text formatting code, authentication code, authorization code, API for OS, document management system, create proxies, event handling, middleware in web development, workflow system, undo redo functionality in apps, job scheduler scenarios, parsers, chart applications, drawing applications, notification system, distributed system, booking system, workflow management system, sorting algorithm, file compression utility, and many more. If you are really serious about your career in programming, you have to get this video, and you don't have to be a Python programmer to use it. Use the link in the description to get the best price for this course on the Udemy platform.